Hello. So I'm going to pick up where I left off in my last video about the web console. And what I want to show you here is a way to finesse the web console. So it's a little bit nicer to work with and behaves a little bit better. And if you're spending a noticeable time developing your app, then I think it's worth adding these few touches to it. So learn something about turbo links and I'll show you that as well, how to kind of address an issue I sort of introduced with the last one, with the last video. So here, if I press escape, I pull out my web console, press escape again to hide it. So if I go here, one of the issues I found was if I go to, say, a page that's a bit longer, so I'll go to this page here, and I look at the bottom here, if I pull up the web console, it it hides the bottom, which isn't so nice. I have to like hide it to access the bottom. So normally web console will behave properly, but I think there's probably something going on between TurboLinks and web console, and it's just not adding the margin to the page the way it should. However, if I refresh the page and I pull up this, now the web console has added the margin to the bottom of the page and everything is working as expected. I can access the bottom here. So we're going to introduce that to the previous thing that I built in the last video. So I'll show you how that is going to go. So here I'll just stop this and I'll stop this and I'll start up the Hello World app from the last video that we created. Now here, if I refresh, here we go. Let's go to one of those pages where the web console will show Hello World. And here, press escape. There's the web console. So first things first, I'm going to show you something in what I would recommend, and it's always a work in progress, but I would, instead of adding this event list into the document, I would add it to the body. And the reason is because I noticed apparently TurboLinks doesn't like events being added within this TurboLinks load. And they do have a suggestion to make your events idempotent, but it links to a jQuery, and I'm not exactly sure how to do that with vanilla JavaScript. However, I did find this this seems to work. So if I go to document and I change this to .query selector to add it to the body instead of the document, things seem to behave a little bit better. So here we go. Let's put the browser down here and the editor up here. And there we go. Instant closes. So now to address that issue with the margin, what I would recommend to do here is we're going to add a few lines of code here. Let me make this full screen and let's make that hide it all. So here what we'll do is we're going to say after we hide the console, we're going to remove the margin. So here what we'll do is the document query selector on the body, and we're going to access the style, and we're going to set the margin bottom to 0. And then when we show it, we want to add that margin. So here we'll go, and now the way we're going to add it is we're actually going to query for the actual web console itself, and just use whatever the height of the web console is. So we'll say document.query selector, and we'll say we'll query for that console, and we'll grab the offset height. The reason I put it in these backticks, that's because I want to add px to the end here for the pixels. So we'll save this, see if things still work. Let's open that console to make sure there's no errors. So here, the things are working. fine. Let me just refresh the page, double check. Things are still working fine. And here we can, if we inspect it here, we'll be able to see that. Oops, get rid of this console. My mouse is not wanting to go. So here, if we look at the body here, you can see the margin bottom is 148, and then when we hide the console, it's back to 0. 148, back to 0. So those are the two things. I just wanted to kind of build on that last video. One is setting the margin bottom of the body, and the second is just change this here to query selected body instead of adding the event directly to the document. Okay, that's all for today, and see you next time. Thanks.